Hi everyone, I'm iPad Expert Dave, and I'm on a mission. That's right, I'm on a passion-driven mission. I'm on a mission to make sure that everyone I know and communicate with is well prepared for installing and using the new iOS 9. Experiencing most of the iOS updates myself and helping thousands of clients, online subscribers, friends and family members through the iOS update process, I know that this process can be a bit frustrating and challenging. In fact, although not often, I have seen some really nasty iOS update nightmares, including the absolute worst scenario, complete loss of photos, movies, data, all with no backup. If this has happened to you in the past, you know how devastating this can be and how awful you feel when you find out that your data is completely gone. I do not want this to happen to you, so I decided to put together a series of 3 helpful tutorial videos that will help you avoid the common mistakes people make when updating iOS on their Apple mobile devices. These 3 videos teach you how to prepare your iDevice for updating to the new iOS, how to properly install the iOS update, and finally, provide you a walkthrough of all the new features in the brand new iOS so you're ready to use it. That said, let's move on with this video. This is video 1 in a series of 3 videos I will be sharing with you. Video 1 will help you properly prepare your iDevice for Apple's iOS update. But before we can go any further, I would suggest to you to select the video expansion tool in the bottom right hand corner of this player so you can view this video full screen. Okay, now let's go learn how to prepare your iDevice for iOS 9. Alright, so let's take a look at what you'll be learning today. Alright, we're going to look at the 4 steps to prepare for your iOS 9 install. Now, the first step we're going to take a look at is your device compatible with iOS 9? In step 2, we're going to do a little house cleaning. And what I mean by that is we're going to free up some space to make sure we have room to download and install iOS 9. In step 3, we're going to check for updates. There might be some iOS updates that you haven't run up to this point. And we're also going to take a look at apps. We're going to update those apps to the latest version before we do the iOS 9 download and install. And in step 4, we're going to make sure that we do this step. It's called the backup step. We're going to make sure that we do this because it's the most critical step of this process. We do not want to lose any data that we have, so we're going to make sure that we back it up. So these are the 4 steps we're going to cover. Let's move on. All right, step number 1, checking compatibility. If you own an iPhone 4S all the way through the iPhone 6 Plus, you're going to be okay to install iOS 9. If you own an iPad, iOS 9 is compatible with iPad 2s all the way through the iPad Air 2s. Also, if you have an iPad mini, you can run that on the original iPad mini all the way through the iPad mini 3. And also the iPod. If you have the iPod 5th and 6th generations, you will be able to run iOS 9 on those devices as well. All right, so step 2 of our process here. We're going to free up some space on our device. iOS 8 required at least 3 to 4 gigabytes of space for the download and install. Now, there were a lot of problems with that, and a lot of people struggled with that process because they didn't have that much space to install it. So they had to go through and remove quite a bit of content off of their devices to make this happen, especially if you had a 16 gigabyte device. Apple has addressed this starting in iOS 9. 2 things they did. They made the install, so the download for the install, much smaller, probably half the size, and they came up with something new. If you have insufficient space for downloading the iOS update, what they will do is they'll actually delete or remove apps from your device so you can download and install, and then when it's done, it will put those apps that it removes back on. Now, one thing I don't know what's going to happen is what happens to the data that's associated with it. So we'll have to explore that as we go through the process. But from what I heard with the beta users, this is working pretty nice. Okay, and then we can delete unused apps as well. So if you have any apps that you have on your device that you don't use anymore, go ahead and delete those. And you can do that by doing a long press on an app. You'll get into the edit or jiggly mode. And then the upper left-hand corner of that app, you'll see an X. If you tap that X, that will actually delete the app. Now, it will delete any of the documents or files associated with that app. So keep that in mind. You may want to do a backup first before you do this. That will remove the app and associated files by tapping on that X. And also, you can transfer photos and movies to iCloud or other iCloud services such as Dropbox or Google Drive. And that will free up some space as well. Another way to back up your photos and movies is you can do it directly to your computer using the provided white USB cable that came with your device. If you have an older device, you'll have that 30-pin cable. If you have a newer device, you'll have that lightning cable that you see there on the right-hand side. Well, the USB end will go into your computer, and then the 30-pin or lightning end goes into your device. And once you do that process, it's going to allow you to go ahead and transfer that. Now, there's many different ways, depending on the version of Windows or Mac OS, to do this. So what I did, instead of explaining all that, is I provided a link here, and that link will take you to Apple's site, and they explain how you can transfer your movies and your photos to your computer. So if you're not sure how to do that, write down this link and head over to Apple's site and learn how to do that. And finally, you can actually manually delete unwanted photos and movies and data files that are stored on your device. This is good practice to do anyways, so take advantage of this time and go ahead and clean up your device. All right, let's move on. Step 3, we're going to check for updates. If you're watching this video before the public release of iOS 9, which is on September 16, 2015, now is a great time to update your iOS system to the latest release of iOS 8, which is currently 8.4.1. The reason why you want to do that is sometimes Apple will require you to be at the latest version before you can upgrade to the next. So if that's the case, this is a great opportunity to do that. Now, before you do that upgrade, make sure you do a backup. I don't want you to have any issues during that update, so make sure you do a backup on your device. We'll talk about backup in just a second. To check for updates, first go to your Settings app. Then tap General, tap Software Update, and then go ahead and tap the Download and Install. But if you notice in the bottom right-hand corner, I've got a big warning there. I want you to please back up your device before running any iOS updates. In addition to checking for iOS updates, please install any app updates that are available before updating to iOS 9 to ensure that your apps will properly work after you do that install. To do this, you can tap the App Store app, tap Updates at the bottom of the screen. Next, tap the Update button next to any apps that display. Let's take a peek at that as well. You'll notice that on the right-hand side, those applications have the update buttons available. Simply tap Update to update that specific app. If you want to update all your apps, or the ones that show update, go ahead in the upper left-hand corner and tap Update All. Very good. Now, after all your apps are updated, I want you to double tap your home button, and when you do that, it brings you to the multitask mode. And I want you to quit all open apps. And you can quit apps by simply dragging up across. So put your finger on the app thumbnail, swipe up, and that will quit the app. Do that for each app that you have open up in the multitask bar. All right, and now step 4 is our most critical step. And we make sure, if you're going to do any step that I tell you, this is the one you have to do. I want you to back up your device or devices if you have multiple ones. And now there's 2 ways that you can back up your device. You can back it up over the air to iCloud, which is Apple's cloud-based service, or you can use iTunes on your computer to back it up to your computer. So, iCloud is a wireless backup to the cloud, and iTunes can either be done with the white USB cable that came with your iDevice, or if set up properly, you can actually do this wirelessly to your computer. Let's take a look at backing up to iCloud. iCloud backups require an iCloud account. If you don't already have one, you can create one on your iDevice by going to Settings, iCloud. You'll enter in your Apple ID and password. Let's take a look. Once you log in, this is the iCloud settings, and you'll see that backup is one of the options. If you tap backup, you'll have an option there for iCloud backup, and you can turn that on. Now, this backup automatically will back up data such as your photo library, accounts, documents, health data, HomeKit configurations, and those type of things. However, if you want to do an immediate backup, like backup right now, you can tap the Backup Now button. And when you do that, it'll begin the backup process. Now, I want to make sure that when you do this, either do it with your device plugged into power, or where you have at least, I would say at least 50% battery power. Okay? I don't want your device to shut down while the backup is going. That's not a good thing. So follow those rules. Now, how about backing up to iTunes? You can connect your iDevice to your computer with the white USB cable that came along with your iDevice. Now, once you connect your computer, go ahead and open up iTunes if it doesn't open automatically. Click on your device under the Devices in the left menu, and make sure the Summary tab at the top of iTunes is selected. Underneath the Backup section, select the Backup Now button. Here's an image, and this will give you a better picture of that. You'll notice on the left-hand side, I have my iPhone, and I tapped on Summary. When I did that, that presented the screen to the right. Now, if you look, you'll see that iCloud actually has a check there, or it's active, and that's for the automatically backup section. Now, before we were talking about iCloud and how we actually switched that on in the iCloud backup setting. So iTunes is just letting you know that it's automatically set up. You can only automatically back up to either iCloud or your computer. Now, that doesn't mean you can't back up your computer. You sure can. And you can do that from a manual backup. But before we get into that little section down there with a check mark that says Encrypt iPhone Backup, this will also back up account passwords used on your iPhone, and it'll back it up to your computer. Normally it wouldn't without this checked. Okay, and you also have status there of when you last backed up to either iCloud or your computer. So that will give you indication when your last backups did run. Now, if you want to manually back up your device to your computer, simply just click the Backup Now button. And once you have that backup, that's it. Those are the 4 steps. So let's go ahead and review those steps one more time. The first step is to make sure your device is compatible. Second is do a little house cleaning. Free up some space so you're able to go ahead and do that download and install of the update. And before that, check and see if there's any updates with both the iOS or the apps. Remember to back up your device before any time you do an iOS update. Okay, that's critical. Make sure you back up. And that's it. You're all set to install iOS 9. A couple things before we take off. You might be wondering, hey Dave, what's all that stuff below this video? So let's take a look around and see what we can see. At the bottom of the page, if you like what you experienced in this video, please do me a favor. Go ahead and click that like button down there. This will help me know that you appreciated this video and you found some real value in it. If you know a coworker, a friend, a family member who you think might benefit from this video, please click the share button. Remember, my mission is to help as many people as possible to successfully update their iDevice to the new iOS. I would be grateful if you could help me out with that mission. Also, if you have any questions or comments about this video, go ahead, please leave me a note right in that comment section below. I love interacting with my viewers, and I'll do my best to respond to your comments and questions in a timely manner. If you love learning about how to better use your iOS device, I want you to take a look just to the right of the comments section where you have the opportunity to sign up for my free iPads Tips and Tricks newsletter. Now, don't worry if you only have an iPhone or an iPod Touch. My newsletter focuses on the iOS in general. In fact, I have subscribers from all over the world who have joined my newsletter community, and I would love to have you as a member of that community as well. Lastly, in the third section right below this video, you will find bonus downloads that I have prepared specifically for you. Each one of these downloads will support, in more detail, the information that I've shared with you in this video. This is my gift to you for joining me in my mission. All right, well, that's it, folks. Let's wrap this video up. I want to thank you for sharing your time with me, and I really hope that you learned something today. Now don't forget, come join me in video 2 as we continue our iOS update journey. Until then, laugh, love, be happy, and get your mobile on.